Hello and welcome to Mediocre Money, where I talk about how mediocre I am about managing my money, but how I nevertheless get to live the life I want. Anyway, so one of the big questions I get asked a lot is how to choose cryptocurrency. Now, to let you know, first of all, I do invest in cryptocurrency. I find it interesting. I think it's fun. And I do have it in my portfolio. However, I do view it as an alternative and speculative asset class, and as a result, it accounts for less than 10% of my portfolio. And in fact, right now, due to the big drop as of the time I'm recording this, it probably accounts to closer to somewhere between 5 and 7% of my portfolio. So it's not a big part of my portfolio, and it is something that I definitely do not invest in unless I have the money available to lose. So getting that out of the way, how do I choose which cryptocurrencies to invest in? Well, my first cryptocurrency was actually a single Bitcoin that was given to me in 2011 in exchange for writing an article about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And it was very interesting because it was back in the day when I had to create my own little wallet, my crypto wallet out of a portion of my computer hard drive, right? So I actually put it on my computer. It had to be a whole thing. Today it's so much easier. There are exchanges. There are all sorts of different types of wallets you can use, browser extensions, cold wallets, hot wallets on the exchange, all sorts of things. So there are a lot of different ways that you can store it. So it's much easier today. But the fundamentals of how I decide what cryptocurrencies I'm going to invest in, or that I'm going to choose, or that I'm going to risk my money with, they remain the same. So first of all, I look for a use case. So what I want to know is, what does the underlying blockchain technology of this coin do, right? Cryptocurrencies power transactions on blockchains. They're the native coins to make these things happen. So what is the underlying use case, right? One of the reasons why Ethereum is the second largest is because it took from just being a peer-to-peer payment network or a transaction network that folks could use. It actually added another layer of usability, right? We've got smart contracts you can execute. You can build apps on the Ethereum blockchain. The Ethereum blockchain is the most popular, well, the Ethereum blockchain and the chains that are built using Ethereum, the ERC token, those are used as NFTs, right? It's the most popular NFT, non-fungible token platform. So there's a use case there, and there are plenty of other cryptocurrencies that have different use cases. Solana is supposed to be a faster, more energy efficient smart contract blockchain. It's sometimes called the Ethereum killer. That's interesting. Polkadot allows you to transfer digital assets between blockchains. So that's an interesting use case. Chainlink is supposed to connect smart contracts to off-chain services and data. And you've got Uniswap. It's a decentralized exchange. There are all sorts of apps about it. So there are all sorts of different things, right? Built on various different blockchains, and there are folks that are looking at, even the Binance chain, right, is building out a decentralized finance ecosystem. So there's a lot of different underlying use cases that you can use to kind of decide, do I want to choose this token or not? Does it make sense for me? Is this something that has potential in the future, not just as a cryptocurrency or coin that people can pump and dump, but is there an actual use case for the technology, and will it advance us forward? So that's something to think about. And it's impossible to say who's going to win out, right? I mean, does Bitcoin remain forever and become a store of digital value like digital gold, like some people say it will? How does that all work? And is it going to be practical? We don't know yet. I think it's great to be interested in it, and if you don't want to miss the boat, looking for something with a use case can make a lot of sense. So then next, I look at, okay, what's the liquidity on this thing? How easy is it to trade? Yeah, you can go through all sorts of steps. There are things, there's all sorts of places you can go. You can get a FEG token, and then you can go to Uniswap and you can mess around with it, or you can use your FEG wallet or whatever. There's plenty of things you can do with all of these obscure tokens, and some of them might work out in the long run. But the reality of the situation is some of these altcoins are hard to get rid of once you have them. And then you also have to watch out for scams, right? I mean, think about the Squid Game token, right? It was very hard to get rid of. The contract didn't allow you to sell it once you had it. And so that can be a red flag, or it can just be a function of the fact that it's not very liquid. There isn't a lot of demand for it. So once you buy it, how are you going to get rid of it? So this is one of the reasons why I recommend that beginners start with a centralized exchange. Start with, I know it's got high fees, start with a Coinbase. Start with a crypto.com when it's got lower fees, Binance.us, lower fees. But start out with with an exchange that makes it a little bit easier. Start out with an exchange that makes it easy to buy, makes it easy to sell, and sometimes lets you do, coin to coin trades. You can think about it that way. But the reality of the situation is for beginners trying to figure out how to manage the liquidity, trying to figure out how to make sure that you're able to get rid of the coin when you're ready to get rid of the coin can be difficult. So I like to look for things that are liquid, I like to look for things that are accessible, and I like to look for things that I can trade quickly and easily if I need to. Right, and this doesn't even get into staking or yield farming. I'm not talking about that today. I'm just talking about how do you choose a coin on a very basic level. And then finally, have a little fun. There's nothing wrong with having fun with crypto. I did an entire Dogecoin experiment where bought into it kind of before it really started the pumping and then sold it before the dumping started. It was a lot of fun. It was a wild ride and it made my stomach, it made me sick to my stomach sometimes. But it's okay to have fun. I bought a bunch of Shiba Inu coin. Why? Because it was fun. And I took my profits after I doubled my money, I took some profits. I still have enough Shiba Inu coin that if it ever reaches 25 cents, then I become a crypto millionaire. It's not going to happen, but here we are. But it's fun. It's been a way for me to enjoy taking a few profits off the top. When I get profits from things like this, I turn around and put those profits into like my travel fund or beef up some other area where I can use that money for something that I have a long-term goal for or even a short-term goal. So there's nothing wrong with getting in on a coin because it's fun and you're having a good time. Just be aware that at some point, especially if it's a meme with nothing underlying it, or if it's like the hotness, but you can't get rid of it in some way, or it's having trouble with liquidity, just realize that there's a good chance you could lose your money if you don't time it just right. And that can be rough. So really take a step back and think about it. Investing in cryptocurrency can be a good way to make sure you don't miss the boat. It's probably not going to make you wealthy beyond your wildest dreams, but it can be a good way to get involved, diversify your portfolio, and even just have a little fun.